All right, hi everyone, and welcome to this quick informal chat. My name's Sarah Bartlett, for those that don't know me, and today I'm joined by my good friend and fellow Tableau ambassador and Tableau Zen master, Zach Bowders. Hi, Zach.
Hi.
Welcome. Thank you for joining me on this. I don't know what to call this. Maybe it's a TC know before you go session. I don't know. But we just want to talk about TC since TC21 is starting tomorrow, if you're in the US. So we're very excited and we just want to share some tips and tricks and things you should check out before you go. So yeah, where should we start?
Well, I would say, first of all, if this is going to be your first conference, I'm surprised you found this, but I'm very delighted that you did. But I would say, don't freak out. At first, it can seem very overwhelming, particularly the volume of content that's coming your way. There's multiple channels to select from at every single hour, as well as it's multiple days long. I would say my rule number one is pace yourself. If you're feeling overwhelmed, take a session off. Like go, you're at home probably, right? So like go take a cup of coffee, have a drink of tea, or rinse off in the shower even. Just like take some time, reset yourself and come back. Like don't feel like you're locked in. All of this stuff will also be available later.
Absolutely. I think it's very easy to just get trigger happy and say, oh yeah, I'll sign up to that, I'll sign up to that, I'll sign up to that. And then when it boils down to it, you're like, oh God, this is a lot. Like I've not booked in any breaks. I've got like back-to-back brain dates. So yeah, 100%. I think, and that applies to in-person conferences as well, right? But I think in person, it's much more difficult to take that time out. But as you say, we're all at home, we're remote, we're at work. You can go and take a break and take a stroll or whatever you need to do to just get a breather away from the conference schedule. I think I'm close to that this year. I've booked a lot of brain dates, but I personally find them very valuable, right? So that's the next thing I want to say is get involved in brain dates. If you've not been to an in-person TC, then you won't have experienced them like how they were. And I think that applies to a lot of people, right? I think more and more we're having these new people come into the community that have never experienced an in-person conference. But brain dates were a thing before they went virtual, but now we have these virtual small get-togethers where you can pick a topic and just have an informal conversation about that topic. And it's a really great way of actually networking with people at TC, because I find that you could just sit and watch sessions all day and you forget there's thousands of other people sitting there with you. And I think brain dates is a really great way to actually connect with real people and talk to them about topics that interest you.
Absolutely. I would say one of my tips that I learned, I've been to 3 in-person conferences and 1 virtual conference at this point. And one of my tips is, depending on what level you're at, and also depending on what you're getting from each session, don't be afraid to mix up what you're going to. My first year, I went almost all hands-on, which is obviously an in-person kind of thing. And I sort of realized halfway through, I already know a lot of this. So I switched it up and went to some more community-based things. I went to some more theory-based things, basically stuff to get me enthusiastic. And I found some of that stuff to be more exciting and also paid off more on my work when I came back to the office, the following Monday than some of the hands-on stuff, which is stuff I could get online through YouTube tutorials or blogs and that sort of thing. So don't be afraid to mix things up, and don't make all of your schedule the same kind of thing. You're going to find it much more rewarding if you try different stuff.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of overlap, right, between the sessions, and as long as you catch one of them, you're good. But I agree. I think some of the customer sessions sometimes could be, it's kind of hit or miss, right? It depends what you're after, but you may be pleasantly surprised. And if you don't like it, you can leave. No one's going to be offended by you walking out, right? It's virtual. So yeah, I agree. Yeah, mix it up a bit because it can get very samey otherwise. And then, yeah, you don't want to get into that trap.
For sure. Yeah. To reiterate what Sarah just said, don't fall for the sunk cost fallacy. If you're in a session, you're not getting anything out of it, don't feel like I have to ride this thing out to the end. It's okay to leave. You can jump into another session midstream or go take a break or join a brain date or read or see what people are saying online. You might learn something from another session you just missed that someone else is enthusiastically sharing. So, sort of take some time throughout the day to check and see what other people are saying, because you might find sessions that you would have liked to have seen and you'd like to visit later.
Yeah, sometimes I think with the broadcast, I think if it's the same as it was last year, you can just sit on one stream and it will just continuously like play. You have a small break between sessions. And sometimes last year I just left that on in the background. And if there was something that came on that like felt my interest, then I went to watch it. And that way you can kind of be pleasantly surprised about like what the schedule is, rather than kind of going down an allotted path that you set yourself before the conference.
So I know for me at every conference, one of the big things I look forward to is devs on stage. So this year, I believe we're doing devs at desks again. Obviously, there's probably not really a stage, but this is where most of the exciting new features that are coming out in the next version of Tableau are being announced. And having had a sneak peek of that as a Zen master, I can tell you, this is one you're definitely going to want to attend. And I'm not saying that because I'm being paid to do this. I'm not, but because some of the features are really exciting this year. And if for the past year, you've been watching some of the feature rollouts and thought, a lot of these don't really apply to me, or some of these are maybe, for more data scientist types or for people really into maps, not throwing any stones, you're really going to like a lot of the new features that are coming, like devs at desks. Check it out.
I'm really looking forward to that. So I've had the same preview as you, Zach, and I think we have Keynote. Keynote is great. It sets you into the spirit. But I find it to be very almost salesy, right? They're trying to pitch the product, and they don't go into all that much detail around new features. Whereas devs at desk, they get really deep and they go into all these little features that are coming, and you get a real oversight of the roadmap. So I'm very excited, and there's stuff coming that will certainly help me in my role, and I'm sure the same applies to you, Zach. So yeah, I'm excited for that.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Sarah.
No, I was going to say, what else? Have you got any sessions that you kind of at your must see? You got any ones that you've bookmarked or on your list?
Absolutely. Speed tipping is always a must for me. And I'll be the first to admit, in a speed tipping session, I rarely grasp everything I need to during the session, but it delivers a lot of wow factor and gives me, like I said, points to revisit later. If you're unfamiliar with it, speed tipping is a session where I think this year it's going to be 3 hosts present to you like 1 tip a minute over the course of an entire session over, I bet you didn't know this, or this is how you can do this thing in Tableau. It's a really great way to quickly acquire some shortcuts and skills. And I mean, I'm saying this as a Zen master and ambassador. Every single time I attend, I walk away with at least 5 new things I'd never heard of before. So it's a great way to sort of skill up really quickly and bookmark it, come back and watch that session again later, because you're going to want some of those tips.
Yeah, yeah. So Heidi's joined Anne and Lorna this year, and as you say, it's something that Lorna always says: don't try and make notes during the session, because you'll just be there frantically kind of writing and not following what's going on. Just attend, watch, and then watch it back later if you need to recap anything. But yeah, absolutely, one of my favorite sessions. And we were lucky enough to get Lorna to come over to Red Hat and deliver a tip session recently for us, and it's one of my favorite kind of talks. So yeah, absolutely. On my list, I have the Kevin and Ken dashboard design session, which should be amazing. Kevin and Ken are like experts in this. They've got tons of blog posts out there around how to do good design. So I'm really excited to see what they come up with this year.
Absolutely. And Iron Viz is going to be particularly special this year. We've got 3 really exciting contestants, 2 of which are sort of known quantities. And then we have Lisa, who is sort of new. So Lisa is one of the more exciting voices we're going to be seeing this year, because she's competing with 2 people that are very established. This is another example, like when Hesham competed in Iron Viz 2 years ago, that you can be a fairly new user of this tool and still like compete and win at the show. So Iron Viz, if you're unfamiliar with it, which I know Sarah is very familiar with Iron Viz as the host of Iron Quest every month, but Iron Viz is a live contest to see who can create the best dashboard in 20 minutes live, usually on stage, now remotely. It's a really exciting time. There's a big feeder every year where people are given a month on a topic to go create something. There's hundreds and hundreds of entries. They narrow it down to the top 10, and the top 3 get to come compete live at the conference. And that's what we're going to be watching, I believe, on Thursday this week, or Wednesday, one of those.
It's Wednesday. Yeah, Devs on Stage is Thursday. Yeah, absolutely. I'm so excited for Iron Viz as always. I have to stay impartial for Iron Viz, because I generally have connections with each of the contestants, or I've spoken to them along the way. So I'm not rooting for one particular person. I'm just excited to see what they come up with. It should be really, really exciting. They've each got their own unique styles, which are all very different. And I mean, if you want to check those out, just have a look at the gallery for the entries you'll see on there. or even look at the Tableau public viz gallery, where you'll see all 3 entries from the finalists, as well as lots of other inspiration from Tableau public. And that's actually going back to your first point around like taking some time out. That's something you could do if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed. Just go to the Tableau public viz gallery. There's some calming music there. It's kind of like an immersive experience. It feels like you're in a real art gallery, and you can look at Tableau public vizzes.
Yeah, and I would say I would love to hear after this video responses to what other people are excited to see at the conference this year, and also post-conference feedback. What were the big things that really hit big this year? Sometimes you hear a particular presentation, like I remember Philippos had a very exciting parameter-based devs on stage presentation that kind of knocked everyone's socks off at TC19. Like literally, if you use the tool and were in the know, you were on your feet clapping as to the changes that this was going to make for your daily development life. It was a real test for an audience who was sort of a senior vice president and who uses Tableau at the conference. But yeah, I'm excited to hear what people thought the big moments were of this year's conference. Yeah.
And maybe we should do this again. Like maybe next week we can regroup and say, oh yeah, I love this, didn't like this too much. Just recap. I mean, I'm sure we love it all, but yeah, we'll see.
Fun.
What else have we got? I've got a list here of things to check out. Photo booth. So if you haven't already, go to the Ways to Connect tab in the conference browser, and then everything all these supporting activities are on there. And in there, you'll find the photo booth. So you can go and get your own photo. And I think with the virtual events, they're a nice memento, right, to remember the event by, since we're not all here taking pictures. But yeah, you can use that on your Tableau, your Twitter profile, your LinkedIn, just post it on social media, share it at work, whatever you want.
Absolutely. You are much more in touch with the virtual conference. I have actually this week been mailing out like physical swag to people. So
where's
swag
mine? Like
look, I'm going to put together a care package for my UK colleagues, but swag is one of the best parts of the conference. And like Sarah was saying, your virtual your photo booth thing is one of the coolest things that you can take away from the conference right now in terms of swag. Maybe Tableau will have some surprises for us. I can't say to that end, but yeah, absolutely. Everyone coming back with their lanyards and pins is one of the highlights of an in-person conference this year. So try to make some memories of your favorite moments of the conference this year, whether that be screenshots of your favorite sessions or memories of discussions with people that you've had. Because I know for me, the whole reason I do a data podcast is because of the energizing conversations I was having at Tableau conference, whether that be in a brain date or a casual discussion. So make time to have discussions with people about what you're seeing instead of just watching it alone in a vacuum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you made a good point there about brain dates. Just take a screenshot of everyone on the screen as a nice memento. You're going to, for me, I generally write a blog post after the event, and they're nice things you can kind of put in there to kind of bring your content to life. And it's a nice, memento for you to keep, since you can't go around taking selfies of everyone like you normally would. We also have Slack this year. So last year, as you may have seen in many conferences, you generally have a chat at the bottom of the screen where you can talk about the session. Now, all of that this year is happening on Slack. So Tableau have got, I think they're going to have, I want to say like about 15 to 20 Slack channels where you can go and just talk about different topics, talk about different sessions, and just hold all that chat in there. So definitely check that out. If you've not used Slack before, I'd say do that sooner rather than later, just to help navigate the system. You can do that through your browser. You haven't got to download the app or anything. And it's pretty simple to use. There's a channel in there at the moment where everyone's going in and introducing themselves, which is pretty cool. So you can check that out. But I think all of the other channels will go live when conference starts. But I'm excited to see how that goes. I know they're going to have some channels specifically for like newbies and special interests as well. So that should be cool.
Absolutely. Take advantage of that common shared space, whether it's while watching a session or during a break between sessions. I mean, some of the connections that you're going to make through this can be very valuable to you, both in terms of personal development and also possibly your career. You never know who you're going to meet and how that's going to make a difference down the road. So, be friendly, say hi, mix and mingle, have a good time.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to ask questions. Like, I know that the entire community is behind you. If you've got a question, ask it. Someone will help, right? For sure. Absolutely. We all like to just help each other. Tableau Doctor is happening this year. So I don't know, Zach, are you volunteering as a Tableau Doctor?
I am not this year. I have my own internal duties as tied to the Tableau conference. So I usually get a little bit committed with these virtual conferences, but Tableau Doctor is an exciting opportunity. You want to explain that more, Sarah?
Yeah, so I'm volunteering as a doctor this year, and Tableau Doctor is basically you can book a session to see a Tableau doctor, and a doctor could be a Zen master or it could be a product expert from Tableau. And you essentially book, I think it's a 20-minute appointment where you can just go along and share a problem you're having with Tableau or a question, or maybe you just want some advice on a particular approach. So we're here to help you. So if you have got anything that's bugging you, maybe you're stuck with a problem in Tableau, by all means book a Tableau doctor session and do that sooner rather than later. You haven't got to wait till the conference starts because they always book up. So book one soon and then get some help. It's free. You may as well take advantage of it.
If you're an individual practitioner, if you're on your own and have no one to bounce ideas off of, these are exceptionally valuable. Or like the normal doctor, if you've got a problem so embarrassing that you don't want to show other people, this is also your chance. So go to the Tableau doctor. They'll fix you up.
It is run like a doctor as well. So us doctors, we have prescription forms. So at the end of the session, you fill in a prescription form to say what you prescribe to this person, which is pretty cool.
And confidentiality, that's important.
Yes. So brain dates, I don't know, we touched on brain dates already. Zach, are you running any brain dates this year?
I am running a brain date. I'm doing one so far. I may add another, but it's how to build better dashboards right now. So there's a lot of opportunities you can have to just sort of start improving your work immediately. Oftentimes we think about this as a lot of effort you have to put in downstream, but there's changes you can start making to your work habits, workflow, and how you put stuff on the page that can yield better results immediately. So just some talk about that from my perspective. It's already fully booked. I mean, I have 5 other people in there and I don't know any of them, which I'm super excited for. So I may book another session or 2 just for fun.
Yeah, I think that brain dates are really in demand this year. Like I'm running 4 and they filled up, like one of them filled up within like an hour or 2. It was insane. So as we talked about brain dates, you can run your own sessions. So if there's something that you're burning to talk about people with, by all means, set up your own session. You meet up to, I think, up to 5 or 6 people. They also have a fishbowl option this year. So there's a few people that have come forward and volunteered as brain date champions. So they have the option to create a fishbowl session. So I'm actually attending one for mums in data. I'm going to say it wrong. Mums who viz. That's it. I'm getting confused with Data Plus Women. So it's a group of mums. We're all working data viz, and I think there's about 20 of us getting together. And with the fishbowl option, it's almost like Clubhouse, right? So you have like 4 people in the hot seat, and then you have an audience, and then people can come up and speak as they wish. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I've seen an insane demand for brain dates. I've seen people that on Twitter saying, "Hey, I posted a brain date," and it's filled up straight away. And in some cases, they posted 3 and they filled up straight away. So there's plenty out there, but they do fill up fast. So go and check out the brain date market. It's open now, and you can set those up now. So nothing's stopping you.
Fishbowl sound very exciting, and it's a really great way to get multiple perspectives at once, or alternatively mess with Sarah. Now that she's running one.
I'm not running it, unfortunately. Christina's running it. I'm just attending. Yeah, I haven't got the confidence to run a massive fishbowl on my own, because of the fishbowl option, you have another, essentially the first person who joins after you becomes a leader by default, and that that could be anyone.
That's fun. And also Beck is performing, right? Like that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah. I'm really sorry, but I don't know a single Beck song. So, but yay!
2 turntables and a microphone. No, loser, like nothing.
No.
Oh, wow. Okay. So that'll be exciting for people that aren't Sarah.
Well, I can check it out,
Yeah, I mean, no harm. Like, look, I mean, that's one of the cool things. Last year, John Legend performed. This year, Beck performs. It's kind of something for everyone. It's exciting times.
Yeah. See, I feel like, so I won last year. I love John Legend. Really happy with that. They picked him. And yeah, this year, no. I've heard of Beck, obviously, but I couldn't tell you what he sings. But yeah, it's all good. Yeah, I think I've covered most things. I think there's some watch parties going on, so check out for those. I don't know how they're going to be shared, but last year they kind of popped up on Twitter. People were running watch parties on Zoom, and they're cool. You might be asking, why should I attend a watch party? I want to watch this thing. But last year it was really great just to have the watch party on, and like watch things like IronViz and devs on stage, and just have people there to chat to, right? As these features were coming in or things were being announced, it was really nice to have that chat. And then after the event, we could all like just get together and actually talk on camera.
Crowd reactions are a big deal, right? Like sometimes you don't know that something's a big deal until you see other people's reactions to it. And it's also great to have someone to bounce your thought off of instead of just, saying it to your cat.
Yeah, exactly. And I think for me last year, they made me feel much more connected, right? It's all well and good attending the brain dates and things, but I think, once you're out of that brain date, you may feel a little bit disconnected again, but it was really nice to have that connection whilst in a session. And I guess that's what they're going for with Slack this year as well, but still it's just not the same for me personally.
Absolutely. But everyone find your own niche, find your own way to connect. It's not going to be the same for everyone. Like all of us have different ways we prefer to communicate or talk to people. Some people want to talk to one person, some people like to talk to a bunch. There's going to be that option for you. So find the means through which you feel most fulfilled and do that.
Yeah. And I just want to talk about timings as well. So they're showing the streams in 3 regions. So you've got Americas, EMEA, which is aligned to London, and then APAC, which is aligned to Singapore. So there should be a region that kind of fits you depending on where you are in the world. But don't feel obliged to kind of stick to that, right? If you come up against a conflict, so maybe there's 2 sessions that you really want to watch and they clash, everything is going to be available on demand, I think 24 hours after the initial stream. So you can always go back and watch it the next day or even after the conference ends. And even if you want to mix it up a bit, so for me personally, I'm based in EMEA, but I'm going to join the Americas stream because that kind of fits my schedule better. That will run in my evening, which frees up my day, which for any other conference content for Tableau Doctor, for brain dates and that kind of thing. So that's personally what I'll be doing. So don't feel obliged to kind of stick to your region stream. So it's all right if you use that because you're in the Americas and you get everything first. And it's just, I don't want to watch IronViz on replay.
No, that's true. It's like, well, you want to see it the first time it's available. It'd be like watching the Super Bowl, which is also a misnomer for you, the next day. But everyone find your own way to connect. There's probably going to be lots of vendors giving stuff away if you watch social media. Like usually at a conference that we have got the data village where you can go through and talk to vendors and see their various products and they'll give you swag. Oftentimes during virtual conferences, they have little online signups and they might send you a t-shirt or something. Keep your eyes open for that. Keep your eyes open for unofficial conference things that are also popping off. I've got the Data Plus Love podcast every day of the conference, dropping a special episode with a member of the Data Fam. We've got Lindsay Betzendahl, Kevin Flerledge, and Judith Becker on the 9th, 10th, and 11th, each episode dropping at 3 p.m. Central. So as the Americas conference is winding down for the day, you can jump on and listen to a casual conversation, the kind of which you might have at dinner after being at the conference in person. So some of your favorite people are going to be there, and find your own favorite people, whether or not you can do that in person or online, and talk with them about what you think, what you thought of the day, and what you were excited about.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, talk to colleagues and hopefully you'll make some connections through brain dates or even through the Slack chats. But yeah, try and take some connections away. Like for brain dates, it's very easy to connect with people via LinkedIn. I think as long as you've populated that field on your profile, it's there after a session. So you can just quickly connect the people you spoke to, because chances are if you connected for a brain date, you have something in common. So absolutely check that out. I want to just give a quick plug. I am speaking in 2 sessions. One is on data culture, and then one is a community session that I'm speaking with Ziffer and T about how to get involved, essentially how to get involved in the community, our own personal journeys. It's a lot of fun, so please check it out, and it's aimed at anyone. So even if you've been around for a while, you think you know the community inside out, there's definitely something for you in this session too.
I highly recommend those types of sessions as well, and not just because I'm on this call with Sarah, but because community-based sessions can be some of the sessions that fire you up the most and get you the most excited to go back to work the next day, or in this case, the next week, potentially. While many of the theoretical and technical things are going to be things that give you a lot of utility and ability, it's the kind of stuff that excites you that can really make a big difference in your conference experience.
Yeah. One thing I love about this session was that we all come from different backgrounds. We found the community in different ways. It was really interesting for me personally to find out about how T discovered the community and how she got involved. And I think for Ziffer and I, we discovered the community at the same time we discovered Tableau, whereas T had been using Tableau for a while, then she discovered the community and then kind of like leveled up. So that was really interesting to see that and how we approach that differently. But there'll be a few sessions like that. I think Priya is talking about the community and how to find, how to become more confident in the community. So I'm really excited about that session. I think she's got some other special guests making an appearance in her session. So definitely check that one out too.
Awesome. Well, Sarah, thank you for having me on today.
Yeah, thank you, Zach. It's been great just to have a quick catch up. Really excited about the conference tomorrow. I hope you found this session recording useful. And yeah, see you at TC.
See you there.
Yeah, thanks, Zach. Bye.
Bye.